Markets are on the move, mostly south. We've got team coverage. Trader Jon Corpina is live from the New York Stock Exchange on market reaction to President Trump's call to Iranians to fight their despotic government. And Market Rebellion co-founder Jon Najarian specifically watching defense stocks, which are hitting records amid the ramp-up in tensions with Iran. Let's start with Jon Corpina on Wall Street. Jon, I've been watching the VIX. So earlier today it was up 5%. Now it's up 6.6%. It's elevated, it's above 16, but not exactly soaring, and yet energy vaulting to the top of the S&P sector list as the president toured that auto assembly line in Detroit and said it would be a good idea if Americans evacuate from Iran. I mean, how do you view market reaction as they try and figure out what Trump's plan is with Iran?
Hey, Liz, yeah, a few things going on here. I think this market reaction is a combination of a few things. One is, I think it's a delayed reaction from the news that came out over the weekend, and we didn't see the reaction in the market activity yesterday of what you were just speaking about credit cards and capping rates at 10%. We're starting to see a little bit more of that information settle in, and it's quite unsettling in some areas that we're seeing pressure on the market. Now you couple that with the comments that are coming out of President Trump in his speech that he's presenting now. Some of it is on script, some of it is going off script, and there's a couple of real clear messages that are coming out there. The message to the people of Iran to make sure that, in fact, you stay safe, and this could potentially escalate rather quickly. There's some threats out there for some tech companies that he's mentioned that might be coming into some significant headlines coming in the next few weeks. He's talking about the Fed. He's talking about Venezuela. He's got many different topics that he's hitting on here. Couple this all together, we're starting to see this pressure on the market. You would think that the VIX would move a little further than it has, right? We were kind of stuck in this range. 13.5, 14 to 16. I would have thought it would have broken out higher than this. Maybe it's going to take a little time for us to get there. We've got a long week ahead of us, more economic data. We've got earnings season still going to continue. Hopefully that adds a little golden light for us to see down this hallway. But at this point right now, it seems like there is certainly a lot of pressure that's going to sit on this market.
Yeah, I think you're right about his speech before the Detroit Economic Council, and we're waiting for Kelly Saberi to get in front of the camera. She's right there, so we're going to get an update on all of that. But here's where he got applause. He got applause because I was listening here when he talked about preventing big institutions and private equity outfits from buying up single-family homes. Applause on bringing drug prices down. He went on to say, I want the markets up. The markets are doing the complete opposite. So I think you're right. It is a combo of everything from what he said regarding the credit card caps, et cetera, not to mention the Iranian issue. But he also called during the speech Jay Powell a jerk. He did not get applause. The crowd was silent when he said that. So it's interesting to be watching all of this. Jon, what are you seeing when it comes to the flows? Where's the most money going on the floor?
We continue to see this kind of cycle trade, right? As we head into earnings season, financials seem to become more of the favorite area that investors get in. We've seen volatility throughout the tech sector. It seems like at this point, investors are favoring to go back there. But if we continue to see volatility in this market, I think we're going to start to see some of that cycle pull away and get into some of the more safer areas, the higher dividends, potentially in some of these defensive stocks. We're keeping our eye on the oil industry, what's happening there, how this all plays out in Venezuela, which can fluctuate at any moment. So normally we like to see cycles move slowly over time. It seems to me that with these ever-changing headlines that we might see some cycles move rather quickly.
Jon Corpina from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, we thank you so much. Keep an eye, folks, on the Dow Jones Industrials. We just got a new session low of 429-point loss. Just off it now at 413. Let's bring in Market Rebellion co-founder Jon Najarian, who's watching defense stock. Boy, they are on a tear. You've got session highs, certainly all-time highs for Huntington Ingalls, the big Navy shipmaker.
Absolutely. For autonomous vehicles that
RTX,
can launch
Raytheon
themselves and then be recaptured by the ship as well. So anything that keeps our very brave men and women in uniform out of harm's way, Liz, is something I'm a huge supporter of. I'm sure you are, too.
Of course.
Drones and underwater drones, like HII is talking about right here, that they just tested it up in Massachusetts just in the last little bit here. I think that's fantastic. And I've got a whole bunch of those stocks that I think people should be focused on right now.
When the president comes out and says, help is on its way, That's exactly what he said
Yeah.
earlier. Speaking directly to the Iranian people, he has canceled all his meetings with Iran's regime. He mentioned that as well. You start to see these names pop up to not just session highs, but all-time highs.
Yep.
Lockheed Martin.
Right, and the Department of War putting in that money into LHX, into L3 Harris. I mean, there's a big reason that all this is happening right now, and I am very supportive of the people in Iran right now, as much as I can be as a private citizen, Liz, because I see hundreds of thousands of people, and for the longest time, they weren't covering it in the mass media, and now they are.
They are being murdered by
Yes.
that regime. That the regime has said we're going to start hanging, doing public executions.
I think this is a matter of numbers, as always. Numbers of people, if they rise up as one, which they are trying to do right now, and that's why the regime is putting them down, I think they have a real chance to overthrow this regime.
But for the moment, it's destabilizing the markets. I mean, the Dow's now
Yes.
down 422. S&P, NASDAQ in the red, Russell still clinging to a little bit of the green here. These are often short-term drops, are they not?
Yep.
So would you say this is a buying opportunity?
I would. And I wouldn't say it's going to be defense stocks forever, but all the tech, Liz, that feeds into this, you know, the Palantirs, the ONDS, any of these companies are the ones we want to focus on.
In fact, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD and Intel, both of them are very close to the top. They're like number 2 and 3 at the top of the S&P 500.
Yep.
They both got upgrades. This is a couple of names here where you look and say, wow, I mean, AMD up 7% at the moment.
Right. And, you know, I saw Global Foundry, another semi maker, GFS, moving very strongly today. I think you're going to see all the pieces that go into any bit of military hardware running to the upside. And again, the issue is, I think Iran is being very, well, obviously brutal and totalitarian, as they usually are. But the president not sitting back and saying, yeah, I'm just going to watch you slaughter your people. He's not going to do that. I think there's going to be some intervention here.
Well, that's what the market kind of is showing, a little bit of insecurity, jitteriness here, folks. Another new session low here for the Dow, down 433. Again, it's the financials showing the weakness there. John, good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz.